Hey, what's up? It's your girl Kia. So this is going to be a different video. I actually already recorded this video, but then I was melting in the clothes I had on, hence the reason why I'm wearing this, and I had to pull my hair up because it was driving me insane. And also I feel like I left a lot of things out in my last video. So as you can see by the title, it's just basically kind of opening up about being a special needs parent. And I am a special needs step parent, so this is something that I actively chose to do as a mom. And I kind of just wanted to talk about my experiences and kind of what I've seen in the Black and Brown community so far. So just bear with me. This will not be a long video. I'm not going to walk you through some 30-minute story time because I have stuff to do and you have stuff to do. So just to start off, I'm a special needs stepmom. So when my husband, first got with my husband and started dating, he told me he had a child, but he didn't tell me his child was special needs. And after I met his son, I thought he was trying to hide it or lie about it because he was ashamed or whatever. But in reality, would come to find out, my husband and his ex-wife didn't think their son was special needs. Like they thought something was wrong, but they thought he was going to grow out of it. And as a reaction to certain things, it helped me better understand, okay, that's why they're doing this, because they don't think anything is wrong. Okay, that's weird, but I get it. And I saw my stepson, and he's an adorable boy. He's so cute and sweet and super annoying now that he's a teenager, but he's awesome. And I knew I wanted to be a part of this family. I wanted to actively be this little boy step parent and really help him grow and everything. And I literally, and my husband, if he ever gets on my channel, which he won't because of his job, they probably won't approve of it. But I kind of came into my husband's life and his whole family's life, immediate and extended family's life, like a wrecking ball. My husband is Guyanese Indian, and I'm regular Black. So it's a pretty big difference in cultural things. So I didn't come in kind of sweet and quiet. I kind of came in like my mother's daughter. Like if something's wrong, I'm going to fix it. And I saw that my stepson needed help and there were things that we should be doing. So, at first I kind of tried to stay back a teeny tiny bit, and I realized that no one was doing anything. Even the school wasn't even being honest with us about what was going on with the behavior stuff. My kid, I remember the first time I went to a parent teacher event with my husband, and we were going in there laughing and joking around like, oh, sweet kid, probably great. Come to find out, the teacher had kept a book this thick of the stuff that our son was doing. I mean, throwing desks across the room, yelling at people, cussing at people, the whole thing. And no one was telling us. And we were looking at her like, well, why aren't you telling us any of this? She's like, oh, well, this is normal. We're like, no, it's not normal. If he was doing this at home, it would be normal. This isn't normal. And ever since then, me and my husband took a super more, he took us more hands on than me. I was like, okay, we're done with the babying crap. Let's move this along. There are a lot of programs for special needs kids, and I got him on every single waiting list possible for every single program. We live in a small city outside of Orlando, so it's kind of hard to get on these lists, and there is a long waiting period. But even then, my husband was still it's not that big of a deal. He was kind of lackadaisical about it. And even people around us didn't think it was that big of a deal outside of my mother-in-law. And when I look at the people in his life, I realize that they also had special needs children, and it wasn't that big of a deal. Like a lot of these kids in the brown and Black community, from what I'm seeing and learning, the parents either think they're going to grow out of it, or they just baby the kids for the rest of their life, or they hide them. And I've seen that time and time again in my husband's community, in the Indian community, and in the Black community. My mother, who is going to murder me when she sees this, I promise you that. I'm looking forward to the angry phone call that she will be giving me when she sees this. But she called me a couple nights ago because someone she knows has a son who isn't even special needs. The boy, I think, has ADHD. Like that on the spectrum of stuff is really not that big of a deal. It's very, very manageable. But the mom considers that kind of a special needs situation and kind of let the son do whatever he wants to. And I think the boy barely graduated from high school and just thought it was no big deal. And it kind of makes me wonder, why are Black and brown parents, why don't we think when our kid is given a mental disability, why are we thinking like it's no big deal or to baby them or pamper them a long life? And that's the right solution. I'm not like that. I wasn't raised like that. I am my mother's daughter. If something is broken, tell me how to fix it. Show me how I can fix it. We'll work together. I will bring you the nails. Give me the hammer. We'll work on this together to get it fixed. And what I also see, and this is not just with Black and brown special needs parents, this is with white parents as well, is that there becomes a fear that it will get very expensive and that it will get very time consuming. So I am here to say that it is not very expensive to get your special needs child programs. It's not. It is very time consuming. I am very fortunate, and people who watch my channel kind of know I work from home and I work about 12 hours a day. I make very, very good money. My husband also makes good money. He works outside the home, but I have the ability, because of my education and skill, to, tell my team, hey, I'm leaving in the middle of the day. I will be right back. I got to take my son to therapy, or I'll be late to work this day because of whatever reason. And I've been able to do that. And not just from working from home, even when I was in an office, I was very clear to my job. Like, my son comes first and you all come second. And if you don't like that, that's fine. You can find somebody else who's as good as I am to do what I do. They couldn't, so they had to deal with it. And that's facts. So I understand that part. But, the free program part, if you can find somebody to take them to give them transportation or work with the program, they will work with you to get your kid what they need. My child is at Lake Speech and Language, which is in our city. They are amazing, really, really amazing. That's my boss right now, who is pinging me while I'm recording this video. Hey, Amy, sorry I'm doing this in the middle of a work day, but had to get this done. So my son goes to Lake Speech and Language, which is in our city. Amy, please stop. And he goes for 2 different therapies. Speech therapy 2 times a week, which is 30 minutes. And then he goes in for occupational therapy for an hour 2 times a week. We also have him in summer school during the summer for 3 days. And then we have him tutoring 2 hours a day on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have him completely booked up for these programs. And I know what you're thinking. That has to be costing them at least $500 a week. No, it's not. Because our son is special needs, he falls under the Medicaid program. And for those of you who are Love and Hip Hop fans, you might know the character Alexis Sky, and a lot of people were jumping on her about her daughter being on Medicaid. That's because her daughter is special needs. When your child is born with a real legitimate issue, they put them on Medicaid. Because they are on Medicaid, or in my case, Medicaid/Stay-Well for our kid, they get a lot of programs. Yes, the waiting lists are very long, but all these programs are free. The only time you are charged for one of these programs is if you are late or if you don't show up for a therapy. If you do not show up if you're late, they charge you out of pocket for the service. That's the only thing. So we have him in everything. And what I noticed going into these offices is that I'm normally the only Black parent. And it's a little interesting because I go throughout the day to the therapies, and they switch our time constantly. And every time I go in there, I'm the only Black parent. And and I know a lot of people are thinking like, oh, well, there's other places in your city, and you're just no. In our city, Lake Speech is the only place to go. That waiting list to get my son in there was 2 years to get him in there too. And it's crazy. So it's a little weird being the only brown parent, because I know I see the special needs kids in my son's school, and I'm wondering, well, wow, where did they go? And some of them are just not getting on waiting lists, and some of them are still just kind of like, oh, well, we'll just deal with it at home and blah, blah, blah. And it's just sad. I don't do this for my son because I have to as his parent. I do it because I want him to have a great quality of life. I feel like there's a lot of special needs parents out there who don't do this because, we don't want anybody to know that we're harming our child or we're not giving our child service, because they want their child to have the best quality of life possible. I went into this relationship knowing I chose to be a parent to a special needs child. I could have easily told my husband, no, I'm cool. And a lot of my friends are like, oh, that seems like a lot of work. Yeah, but it's work that I chose. I look at this little boy and I see that he deserves, to at any age, 25 years old, let's say he wants to move into his own apartment, or, in his case, like the adult male home he can live in on the weekdays and come home on the weekends. If that's what he wants to do, I will make sure it happens. If he wants to become an electrician or whatever he wants to do, I will make sure it happens, because I want to make sure he has the best quality of life. And it is again, like I said, it's a lot of effort taking in there. And I do get stressed out a lot. I do stressed out. I mean, I look at, parents with, not regular children, with children with non-special needs, and how they're complaining about, oh, well, he has soccer practice, and oh, he has this. And I'm like, shut up. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You're complaining because your kid has soccer practice or because your kid, got a C, or like, shut up. Like, there are some of us who are just trying to get our kid just to read at 13 or 14, get them to write better. We're just trying to get the basic things done. We're trying to get our child respected in the community. And that's where we're putting him in all these programs. And I know every parent's journey is different, but it's sometimes as a parent, as a special needs parent, you look at other parents who are complaining and you want to punch them in the face. I mean, let's just be honest. You do, and it sounds messed up, but it's honest. It's being real. So I see a lot, and I cry a lot, and I feel like a lot of special needs parents have this issue. You cry because one, you're stressed out, you're overwhelmed, and you're annoyed at the fact that there aren't more programs out there to help your kid. When he was on the waiting list and the teachers kept telling us over and over again, he really needs to get these programs, I had a moment of snapping at them and cursing and basically saying, are you fucking joking? Do you think we're just out here sitting on our fucking hands not doing shit? We have them on the list. The lists are waiting lists. The waiting lists are 2 years long. It's like, why do you keep saying this to me every single time I come in here to have a meeting with you? We know already. Stop bringing this up, and it was just a breaking point. And I ended up getting in the car. No, I ended up getting home. And I remember just calling my mom, hysterically crying, because it's hard. And you want everybody to understand what you're going through, and nobody really gets it. Even other special needs kids, other special needs parents don't get it because it's such a spectrum. Like, I have a high functioning special needs child. And another parent watching this video who has a child who's wheelchair bound might be saying, well, bitch, what are you complaining about? I have this and that. It's all different, but we're all kind of in the same boat of wanting to get our kid into a place where they are valued as a person in society. That's really what the goal is. But it's hard. It's definitely hard. And I see a lot with brown parents and basically of them not doing things. And I want to encourage more brown parents. Don't worry about the time that goes into it. Don't worry about that. I'm telling you, it'll pay off in the end, because do you want in your 50s or 60s to be taking care of a grown adult because you never got them the programs? Do you want that? Nobody wants it. That's my goal, is to not have to be in my 60s worrying about where my son's going to be, So try to figure out, and I know it's easier said than done. Again, I'm blessed because I work from home, but there are times when I have to work on the weekends, because though I work from home, I still have to get hours done where I have to work on the weekends. There's some days where my husband kind of has to finagle things with his job and his boss to get out to go help with therapies when I can't do it, or just to spend time. And it's crazy and hard, but I just want more brown and black parents to stop sweeping special needs under the rugs and start really engaging in what it is and understanding what it is and what you can do. There's a lot you can do. It really is. And I'm blessed to be in this world because I've learned so much about it. I've been around special needs adults a lot of my life, and I've always told my mom loves me for this, is that special needs people and kids are just regular people. They just do things differently and they learn differently. And you just kind of have to go with it and learn, and it helps you develop as a person. I've developed so much as a woman just from this experience, and I don't have kids of my own yet. That will be something we'll be working on, in the near future. But I know now that when I become, a parent for my own child I give birth to, it'll be a completely different experience, and I'm thankful I'm getting this experience now. So I doubt a lot of people want to comment on this, but I do want to start a conversation about how people in the Black and brown community are treating kids with special needs. It's not something they're going to grow out of. It's not. It's something that you have to work at fixing, and I want more people to be empowered. So if you want to drop them in my comments, feel free. They're down there. You can like and subscribe to my channel. You can find me on Twitter at Kia Shakur, and you can find me on Instagram at I am Kia Giovanni. So let's get the conversation started. Bye.